The year is 1984, and the air in the gastroenterology ward at Royal Perth Hospital is thick with the smell of antiseptic and the heavy weight of established dogma. In the corridors, senior consultants walk with the confident stride of men who know exactly how the world works. They tell their patients with absolute certainty that their burning stomach pain is a result of their own lives. Too much stress at work, too much spicy food, too much worry. The prescription is always the same: bland diets, expensive antacids, and relaxation. It is a clean, psychological explanation for a messy physical problem. But in a cramped, cluttered office down the hall, a 32-year-old clinical fellow named Barrymarshall is looking at a microscope slide, and he is seeing something that shouldn't be there. He sees them floating in the gastric mucus like tiny, translucent corkscrews. Spiral bacteria, Helicobacter pylori, though they don't have that name yet.
To the rest of the medical world, these organisms are contaminants, bystanders, or simply impossible. The stomach is a vat of hydrochloric acid, a chemical environment so hostile that it is widely believed to be sterile. Nothing survives there. To suggest that a bacteria lives in the stomach is like suggesting a fish could live on the surface of the sun. It is biological heresy. But Marshall isn't just looking at the bacteria. He is looking at the patient histories. Every single person with severe gastritis, every person with a duodenal ulcer, has these spirals in their gut. It isn't a coincidence. It is an infestation. Marshall is tired. He has spent months trying to convince his superiors, and the reception has ranged from polite dismissal to open mockery. He is a young upstart from Western Australia, far from the prestigious research centers of London or New York, telling the world's leading experts that they have been wrong for a century.
He feels the walls closing in. His partnership with pathologist Robin Warren has produced compelling images, but images aren't proof. To prove that these bacteria cause ulcers, they need to satisfy Koch's postulates: isolate the pathogen, infect a healthy host, and cause the disease. And this is where the nightmare begins. Marshall has tried everything. He has shoved tubes down the throats of piglets. He has fed the bacteria to rats and mice. He has spent late nights in the animal house, waiting for a sign of sickness that never comes. The animals have different stomach chemistry. They are immune. His theory is dying in a cage of healthy lab rats. The grant money is drying up. The fellowship is ending. He can hear the whispers of his colleagues, that he is wasting time, that he is obsessed, that he is chasing ghosts. The frustration is a physical weight in his chest. He knows he is right. He knows the cure for millions of suffering people is a simple course of antibiotics, not a lifetime of milk and misery. But without a sick animal, he has nothing. He is standing on the edge of a medical breakthrough, screaming into a void, and the silence is deafening. He realizes with a cold dread that there is only one animal left that he hasn't tested. One animal that has a stomach exactly like the patient's he is trying to save.
July, a Tuesday morning. The hospital is quiet, the early light filtering through the blinds of the microbiology lab. Barrymarshall stands alone at the bench. The hum of the refrigerator and the distant rattle of a trolley in the hallway are the only sounds. He checks the door. It is closed. What he is about to do is not just unorthodox, it is technically illegal. It violates every code of medical ethics and hospital safety protocols. If he had asked an ethics committee for permission, they wouldn't have just said no, they would have laughed him out of the room and possibly revoked his medical license. You cannot intentionally infect a human being with a pathogen that has no known cure. But Marshall isn't thinking about his license. He is thinking about the patients. He is thinking about the truth that is slipping through his fingers. He looks at the petri dish in front of him. It contains a culture grown from the stomach lining of a 66-year-old man, a patient with chronic, painful gastritis. The agar plate is teeming with billions of H. pylori bacteria.
It is a heavy, cloudy colony of pure infection. Marshall's hands are steady, but his heart is pounding a frantic rhythm against his ribs. He scrapes the bacteria off the plate, a creamy beige sludge. He drops it into a beaker. He needs a vehicle. He reaches for a beef extract solution, a simple broth usually used to feed bacteria, not people. He pours it over the sludge and swirls the beaker. The liquid turns turbid, a murky, opaque soup. He watches the swirl, the billions of microscopic organisms dancing in the vortex. He knows this is dangerous. He doesn't know if the bacteria will just cause an ulcer or if they will burrow into his bloodstream and kill him with sepsis. He doesn't know if the pain will be manageable or excruciating. He is a doctor about to become a patient, crossing a line that is rarely crossed. He lifts the beaker. The smell is faintly meaty, organic, and wrong. There is no fanfare, no camera crew, no colleagues standing by with a defibrillator. Just a man in a white coat, alone with his obsession. He thinks of his wife, Adrian, and his 4 children.
He hasn't told them. He couldn't. If he told anyone, they would stop him. This has to be done in secret. It has to be done now. He takes a breath, tilts his head back, and drinks. The liquid is warm and foul. He swallows it all in one go, ensuring not a drop is left behind. He sets the empty beaker down on the cool laminate bench. It is done. The bomb is in the building. He checks his watch. Now he waits. He washes the beaker, cleans his station, and walks out of the lab, carrying 1 billion invisible killers in his gut, wondering if he has just committed suicide or made history.
The first day passes. Nothing. Marshall goes about his rounds, feeling fine, perhaps even a little foolish. Did the acid kill them? Was the medical establishment right all along? The second day, still nothing. But on the third day, the biology shifts. It starts with a low rumble, a vague nausea that sits heavy in the pit of his stomach. By the 5th day, the vague nausea has turned into a violent storm. Marshall wakes up retching. He runs to the bathroom, his body trying to expel the invader. He is exhausted, sweating, and miserable. But amidst the bile and the pain, a strange euphoria begins to bubble up. He is sick. He is undeniably, horribly sick. His mother visits and steps back when he speaks. "Barry," she says, wrinkling her nose, "your breath smells like death." It is the smell of achlorhydria. His stomach acid has been neutralized by the ammonia, the bacteria nature of the infection. He has done it. He has turned his own healthy stomach into a breeding ground for disease. He drags himself back to the hospital, not for treatment, but for data. He insists on an endoscopy. His colleague, Dr.
Stuart Ping, threads the scope down Marshall's throat. The images on the monitor are shocking. The once pristine pink lining of his stomach is now angry, red, and inflamed. It is a textbook case of severe gastritis. They take a biopsy, and under the microscope, there they are, thousands of spiral bacteria partying on the ruins of his stomach lining. Marshall has proven Koch's postulates. He has proven that the bacteria cause the damage. He takes a course of antibiotics and bismuth, and almost miraculously, the symptoms vanish. The inflammation subsides. The bacteria die. He has cured himself. He writes up the paper, expecting the medical world to fall to its knees. They don't. The shift is too radical. It implies that an entire generation of doctors has been mistreating patients. It threatens the multi-billion-dollar antacid industry. It takes another decade of fighting, more studies, and thousands of cured patients before the tide finally turns. But the moment in the lab, that solitary act of swallowing the poison, was the catalyst. It changed everything.
In 2005, more than 20 years after he drank the beaker, Barrymarshall stands on a stage in Stockholm to receive the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine. He wears a tuxedo, a far cry from the lab coat of 1984. He accepts the award not just for himself, but for the idea that science must be fearless. Today, ulcers are treated with a simple week of antibiotics. Stomach cancer rates have plummeted. Millions of people live pain-free lives because one man was willing to trust his gut, even if he had to destroy it to prove his point. In a world of safe science and risk-averse committees, Marshall's empty beaker remains a testament to the raw, visceral power of the search for truth. Sometimes, to see what is invisible, you have to become the experiment.